Former Conservative Government Advisor Claire Pearsall joins us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you back. You, of course, because we were in the Purdah period, you were actually an advisor to an MP, a former minister. You worked in the Home Office as an advisor. You're not even allowed in your office. You're not allowed into the office in Parliament anymore.
No, I cease
This is
to
the
exist.
dream, everybody. This is being locked out of your office.
Yeah, passes are revoked. No access granted to me whatsoever. So I have to loiter and work from home.
Oh, one of those people. We'll be talking about that. But yes, lots and lots to talk about. Let's start with reforms launched yesterday. It's just 1 o'clock. Just I finished my show yesterday. Nigel Farage, he's very clear. Look, we have work in progress. He's very open. He goes, we're not going to win the election. We'll only get a handful of seats if we're lucky. This is a springboard to something in the future. I mean, I think everyone still laughs at, the Lib Dems. Which one was it who said, go back to your constituencies and prepare for power? And it was just like, oh, awkward. I can't remember which one that was, but you're not going to be winning the election. Everyone knows that. But he says, look, he's going to stop the migrant boat crossings within 100 days. If he did become elected, he would slash our taxes, wouldn't pay any income tax up to £20,000 a year earnings. It's up from £12,000 currently. Give or take, and basically he's saying that he has got a plan worrying government, including pulling out of the European Court of Human Rights. Now, do you think it's a viable plan? Everyone's very, very quickly number crunching.
And I think that's the real issue, is that most manifestos, and I appreciate this is not a manifesto.
But it is.
But really it is. All of the costings are done on an annual basis, whereas reform seem to have averaged theirs out across a parliament. So it's quite difficult and takes people a lot more clever than me to work out the figures.
Well, to be fair, but the criticisms, like the Tory criticisms of Labour spending, is over an entire, all £2,000. I mean, completely made up figure.
Yeah.
And the made up figure back for the Tories is £3,000 extra taxes, and that's over 4 or 5 years. I mean, they all talk absolute nonsense in these manifestos, do they not? It doesn't even matter if it's a party you like, or just most of it is abject nonsense.
And it's numbers that are so impossible to predict. That is the problem.
I mean, I think if anyone has the will, for instance, to stop the boats within 100 days, it is Nigel Farage. I genuinely think, because one thing about him is he's different from other party leaders who have this sort of concern about being liked at dinner parties. He doesn't expect to be, doesn't want to be, doesn't care. He knows he'll be liked in pubs, as he is. I don't know how he'll actually do that within the law.
That's the problem. Just because he's got the will to do it doesn't mean he has the ability to do it. And it's a nice thought, and everybody would like to stop the boats for very different reasons.
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
The BBC, your entire concern is people drowning.
You've got people drowning, you've got the fact that they're coming here, not being cleared, we don't know who they are. So, there are many different arguments around it. But setting yourself, stop the boats in 100 days, what does that actually mean? Are you going to turn them back, as a former guest of yours on this show had suggested that didn't mind
Ben
them
Habib, in fact,
drowning?
we're going to talk to Ben Habib a bit later.
So it'd be quite interesting to see what he says.
How they're actually planning to do it. There's talk about an extra £141 billion of extra spending plans. Some doubts on that sum. There's been some analysis. Talked about how you can cut basically sort of pretty much £5 in every £100 of government spending. Now, I've seen some analysis, and I've actually taken a few of the sort of other broadcasters up on their analysis. Go, well, so we say we won't cut frontline services like the NHS. Well, if you take that out, then you're down to only a few things he could fiddle with, because there's debt repayments, there's this and there's that. And they are very right, reform, saying the debt repayments on the quantitative easing loans. Absolutely. I didn't realise this. Why are we paying banks? The Bank of England made up money, conjured it out of thin air, and then basically gave it to the banks, and then the banks kind of lend it back to the Bank of England, and we pay interest. I mean, are you bloody kidding me? Are you bloody kidding me? We're paying taxpayers' money to these people. They created the problem. No, other countries don't do this. They don't pay interest on this. So absolutely easy, no question at all. And there are actually some economists on the left, Richard Murphy and others, who completely agree on this. I know the Financial Times has spoken about this. So that's viable. But the idea that you couldn't walk into the NHS or the education department or anywhere and not be able to find a very good whack of cuts very, very easy. I reckon most doctors, nurses, porters working in the NHS could say, I can tell you things we can cut. I can tell you people can get rid of who do absolutely nothing that actually ends up with anyone getting treated or getting better or not dying.
Yeah.
I mean, no, cleaners far more vital than the people who push paper around. But so I think this is viable in terms of dreams and ambitions. But given that not a single government has ever, it seems to me, managed to cut expenditure on public services, one wonders again: is it about the will or is it about the way?
I think with the NHS, it's the way that you do it. It's so unionised that the minute you start to look to cull people, then there's an issue and we'll see more strikes. So I think that there's a real problem in that respect.
I just want a really simple, what do you do? What do you do? Like, we go up to people, what do you do? Don't tell me your job title. What do? You get in at 9, you leave at 5.
Yeah.
Follow those jobs. What do you actually do all day? What is your contribution? And I think it's amazing how few people could actually, in a lot of these roles, can actually justify what they do. We've got, in private sector, where there's a profit motive, we've got a load of those people, for God's sake.
Yes, but we're not paying for them. I think when it comes to the NHS...
If a private company wants to waste money, it's entirely up to them.
Yeah, and I think you can see an awful lot of wastage in the NHS where people just wander around with a folder.
Or call people into meetings, stopping them getting their job done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, look, my question to you today is, as Nigel Farage says, he can stop migrant boat crossings 100 days, he can slash taxes, and be Prime Minister by 2030. This is always all about a springboard. He wants to get elected, and then a springboard for next time round to be the official opposition to Labour, and then get elected in the next gen election in 2029, or it could be sooner, of course.